WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello, hello, hello. It is Monday at 4 o'clock, so it must be the Community Bell Show. Welcome. We're so glad to have you on the Community Bell Show. You know, it's the Monday before Thanksgiving. It still isn't winter yet, not as cold as we would expect. So we're just happy about that. We got a little bit of sunshine today, not much, but we didn't get any rain. And it wasn't cold, cold, cold. So it's a good Monday. It's a good Monday at 4 o'clock. First, let me just say happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the community in my listening voice. Happy Thanksgiving from the Stellar Award-winning WVTC Radio Detroit. We're just happy to be with you. For those of you who are wondering what happens with all of these food giveaways, There have been so many turkey giveaways and giveaways, and it says to me that we need to make sure we're helping each other. It says that there is a desperate need for food for many people. And for those people who need it, we should allow those people to get it. For those people who don't need it, you shouldn't be in these lines. Now, I'm just going to tell you. Let me just say to you, and I simply say that because, you know, some of us who traditionally help out at food giveaway, there have been food giveaways starting last week. There were at least one on last Friday, at least two, three, four, five on last Saturday, one on Sunday, one on today, and I've just participated into a couple on last Saturday, one today. But I had a friend of mine who has participated in several of them who said to me this today as we were working on one of the giving away of food for the holiday. He said he went up to the car to give the man the turkey, and he said, "Wait a minute. I just gave you a turkey yesterday. What are you doing?" And the man looked at him really, really strange, and and he said, and so he told the man, "Get out of line. You can't have another one. There are people out here who really need it, and here you are going from place to place to place, getting the food that those in need should have." So, for those of you who are doing those kinds of things, please talk to yourself. Just say, "Self, I really shouldn't be doing this because I don't need it." There are people who desperately need the help, families who need the help. Let them get the help. And you move out of the way, please. Please. That to me is one of the worst things you can do is to take away from someone who really, really needs it. And so for those of you who need it, you go ahead, get in line, get what you need. But for those of you who don't take away from people and children who need help. Please don't do that. You know, God will bless you for making that decision not to take away from somebody else. Okay? Got that? I appreciate that. I really do. But now back to Thanksgiving. Good afternoon, Mr. Whitfield. I'm loving you. Um, and Mr. Whitfield says that was Pookie who was doing that, who was standing and getting in two or three lines, taking from those who need. Don't do that. Let's talk about what does Thanksgiving mean to most of us. And what it means to many of us is that family get-togethers, being able to sit down and laugh and talk and break bread with each other. And that's a blessing because you don't always know when the last time will be that you'll have an opportunity to laugh and talk and break bread with each other. Thanksgiving to me is also a time when I remember so well. My first nephew was born. It was Thanksgiving when he was born. He was a great young man. His name was Theodore Talbot II. Great young man. Was a police officer. And he was the kind of person you would want to be a police officer. He was loving, but he took no prisoners, though. If you were doing something wrong, he was right there to make sure you turned and did the right thing. And, you know, small stories, family stories. So one of my other cousins and some people on her block were having some issues one day. And so the police was called. And who shows up but Cousin Teddy? And she said, "Oh no, not my cousin." Y'all stop. That's my cousin. We don't want my auntie and the rest of them to know we out here acting crazy and my cousin showed up. So you never know who may show up if you're doing some crazy stuff. But Cousin Teddy showed up and shared with them that y'all need to stop this. He was a good guy. He was the kind of person you'd want to be a police officer. Just a really, really good guy. Miss him terribly. He and my two daughters were the three musketeers. And when they were younger, I took care of them. And then when I started to work, my mother took care of them. And boy, did they get into some mischief. they ever get into some mischief, but loved each other dearly. They were some wonderful kids. But let me go back to families. Thanksgiving is a time for sharing and caring, but it's also a time of thankfulness because we many times say, oh boy, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. But we are so blessed. We don't know how blessed we are. We are sitting in our warm homes with plates of food, so much food, we have to get carry out boxes to take some of it home. We are blessed because there are countries, there are families, there are people who don't have that kind of special opportunity. And so I say to you, when you have a chance to love up on each other, love on your relatives, love on your neighbors, love on your friends, do that because you don't know when you may not have that chance again. It's special. And then you'll think back to those times and you'll say, wow, I remember when. You'll think about people like my brother. You guys heard me talk about my brother before. I always talk about my brother. But there are times now, especially when you kind of get this age, and this age is whatever this age is. That's what this age is. But you think about things, and it's amazing. I'll say, "Oh boy, I need to call," and I called him Junior, and say so and so and so and so. But the interesting part, he is the only one in the world who would know what I'm talking about. And so whatever that was I wanted to tell him at that moment, I just have to keep it to myself or just say it out loud or talk to myself because there's nobody else in the world who would know what I'm talking about but him. Things that we grew up with, things that we did when we were growing up, nobody else would know. And so, love on your loved ones, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your friends, your uncles, your aunts, your moms, your dads, all those people, because you don't know when the last time will be that you'll be able to do that. Because I tell you, there's some things that my brother and I used to do that we, and I'm sure most of you have those things that you didn't tell mom and daddy till you were real grown. And some stuff you never told them, but some things that you would say to mom and dad that, wow. And they look at you like you were crazy, like you did what? and you've survived some of this stuff. But yeah, love on them. Tell them that you love them because it's a special time of year. It's a very, very special time of year. We will have Thanksgiving dinner at my niece's house. And I am just so proud of my niece. My niece was a single mom. She got married. They didn't say married, but she had this wonderful, wonderful young son. And he was the only grandchild nephew for a long time. So, we just spoiled him to death. He was the cutest thing you ever want to see. And he's still such a wonderful young man. But we're having Thanksgiving dinner at her house for the second time because she bought her new house last year. And everybody went to her house for Thanksgiving. And it was so wonderful. And, we just have food on top of food on top of food. But it was so, so wonderful to see her in her new home with everybody there. This was the first time she had hosted Thanksgiving dinner with everyone there. It was a very, very special time. So I'll be at my niece Amy Michelle's house on Thursday with the rest of the family, and we'll just enjoy ourselves and love on each other because it's important that we do that. I don't think we say it enough to each other. We probably mean to, but we don't. So yeah. We need to remember to do that. When I come back, I'm going to talk some more about Thanksgiving and what Thanksgiving means to most of us. And there are lots of stuff. I know there's lots of Thanksgiving stories that we have. And I know lots of folks have Thanksgiving stories. And we grow up with, what happened at Thanksgiving this time and what happened at Thanksgiving that time. And we're going to talk about those. And if you got those kind of stories, kind of put it in the chat and I'll tell folks what your story is. But it's a special time of year. It's a very, very special time of year. So see you in a minute.
just for me. Yes, he did. Do you know that Jesus died? He sacrificed his life way back on Calvary. Yeah, yeah. Jesus did it, my soul. Yes, he did. One day he made me whole. Hallelujah. So glad. Thank you, Jesus, for dying for me. Hallelujah. Oh, oh.
Hello again. Hello again. It's the Community Bell Show. I'm Edna Bell, and we are on the Stellar Award winning WVTC Radio Detroit. I like saying that. Doesn't that sound good? And it's not just one Stellar Award, it's two Stellar Awards. And we've only been around 5 years. Check that out. Who else would have that many awards for the programming and all the work we do? But WVTC Detroit. There are people around the world would love to have those Stellar Awards, but we have two. We have two. I've got something from Mr. Whitfield that says, many years ago, when I was little, my dad dropped a turkey off at the house on the front porch when I was little. Mom and dad were separated. We went to the porch and our dog was laid out on the porch looking pregnant. Yes, the dog ate the turkey. Oh, stop. Oh, my goodness. Oh, okay. That's okay. The dog ate the turkey. Well, somebody had a good Thanksgiving that day. The dog had a good Thanksgiving that day. So you guys had to go get another turkey and share with each other. But I tell you, there are those kinds of days that nobody could write this stuff. You could not script this. I mean, life is such that nobody could write some of this stuff. They would never come up with something like that. Now, who would ever come up with a story like that? Nobody. Those kinds of things are memories that you take with you forever. And the only people who would understand what you're talking about are your family, the people who were there when it happened. Those are the only ones you can talk to about it and laugh about it now. And as the numbers in your family begin to diminish, you have fewer people to laugh with about those kinds of things. And so you have to hold those memories close and to smile to yourself about some of those memories and think positive things and hope that those who have left us are probably thinking some of those positive things too. Life is good. We are blessed. It goes on. It just goes on. Now, last week, we talked about what's coming this week for Thanksgiving. Have any of you been downtown Detroit in the last few days? Just this last Friday, as a matter of fact. Now, I kind of live not far from there, so I drive through there all the time. And I saw them as they were putting this huge 70-foot tree up. And as they were decorating the tree and all of what was going on, and they're getting the midway ready and so on. It's beautiful. If you were not able to go to the tree lighting, go downtown anytime because it's always lit. Go down there. Don't go Thursday. I'm just going to say to you, now, if you want to go see it, don't go Thursday because Thursday is the parade. Thursday is the Lions football game. You don't want to be if you're not going to the game, you don't want to be anywhere near some of that on Thursday, but go Friday or go Wednesday night. And let me another memory. When my grandkids were young, we would take them down on Wednesday night before the parade, before Thanksgiving Day, because what they do is they line the floats up on Wednesday night. And they're up and down Woodward Avenue, starting at about Warren. And you can go up and down and see the floats on Wednesday night. And so we would take the kids down. We thought we were doing something really, really great to take the kids to see the floats. They thought we were like, I really don't want to be here because it's cold outside. And we thought, the kids are going to love this. Well, we loved it, I think, more than the kids did. But we would take them and they take a couple of pictures with a couple of the floats. But I thought it was so much fun because we would take the kids and we'd make them sit on the floats. And they were still looking at us like, okay, Mom, okay, Nana. That's what they called her, Grandma Nana. But it was still a lot of fun. And for those of you who have not had that experience, some children have never been to downtown Detroit. Some children have never been to downtown Detroit. And I know you look at me and I said, oh, that can't be. Yes, it is. Some children have never been off their block. And so if you know of some families who are in that situation, go get some babies and take them to downtown Detroit. If you don't want to go to the parade, take them the Wednesday evening before the parade. Wednesday evening, the floats are already lined up. And you can go and touch and feel and watch the floats. See the floats lined up for the parade the next day. That's always been a very special time for us. But if you have not been to campus marches, it really is a sight. The lighting in downtown Detroit, the campus marches area, is spectacular. The Midway is spectacular. All sorts of things for children and some those of us who are young at heart to do. The ice skating rink, wonderful. I don't ice skate anymore. Did for a little bit of time. No, I don't ice skate anymore. But it's great to watch the people ice skating. There is a Midway, a shopping area that's directly across the street on Cadillac Square from where the tree is, just directly east of the tree. You can do shopping, you can do your Christmas shopping there. Try to keep your money in Detroit. Try to shop as much as you can in Detroit so that those tax dollars that you're paying will stay in Detroit. Because that's what happens. When you go someplace and you buy items from wherever it is you're going, those tax dollars that they charge you, those tax dollars stay in the community where you purchased that item. So try to shop as much as you can in downtown Detroit. And we've got a lot of new stores on Woodward Avenue. If you've never been to a place called the Lip Bar, owned by a Black female, who started her business herself, actually was in finance in New York, decided she was going to come back home and start her business, went on Shark Tank to present her business to the Shark Tank folk, and they did not fund her. So she said, I'm going to do it anyway. Came back to her hometown. Her first location was on Agnes and Van Dyke, because that's where I first ran into her. Now, she is on Woodward Avenue. And she is in Target and Walmart. Go buy some lipstick from her. Go buy some lipstick from this young Black woman. Doing well. But she is on Woodward Avenue. So when you're shopping, go in there and patronize her shop. There's a shop owned by another Black woman, the wine shop. Go on Woodward Avenue, get something from her. There is a spa, Woodward Avenue. Go into that spa. It's a wonderful place. It's so relaxing. Go there. There are lots of places that you need to shop in downtown Detroit. There's a new women's shop in the Guardian building. Go in there. Carries vintage St. John's. You'll need to go in there and all sorts of other lovely jewelry and clothing. Go in there shopping. So patronize Detroit businesses during this holiday season. please do that. But I want you to go down and see how beautiful Campus Martius is. The lights are absolutely spectacular. They are really, really nice. And here I go with stories again. I would take my grandchildren to the lighting, and I'd also take them downtown and shop around and to Campus Martius. And so this one year, and this has been several years ago, because they're now teenagers. They wouldn't be with Nana going down to Campus Martius now. They have to be with their friends. But in those days, they were, I don't know, 9, 10, and 11 maybe. And so we were in one of the horse-drawn carriages because, yes, they do have horse-drawn carriages that will take you around Campus Martius. And so we were in a horse-drawn carriage. My granddaughter, Morgan, who is the quiet one now, Morgan became the queen of the show because Morgan is waving to the people talking about Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday. And I'm thinking, who is this little girl? This is not my granddaughter. She's waving like she's the queen. Happy Holiday, Merry Christmas, while her cousin and her brother go to sleep in the horse-drawn carriage. I said, what's wrong with these boys? What is it? What is it? But I'm telling you, we had fun. Hot cider, donuts. Take the children down there. Take the children down to your city and experience your city and what your city has to offer. There's an awfully lot that your city has to offer. So take them down there. One thing that I didn't talk about, and I'll talk about it probably another time, but right now just talk about Joe Louis restaurant, breakfast, food on the Woodward Avenue, just south, 1/2 block south of West Grand Boulevard. Joe Louis Eatery. It's a great breakfast brunch spot. You will love it. It shows videotapes of many of the Joe Louis fights and so on while you're in there. It has some memorabilia in there, but it's a great spot. And it is owned by one of the Joe Louis heirs, one of his sons. So go by there and patronize that Black business. You will not be sorry. The food is great. You will enjoy it. So don't leave yourself short of all the things that Detroit has to offer. You don't have to run out to the suburbs all the time to enjoy yourself and get good quality food and all the other kinds of things that you would normally get in any other city. We have that. We do have that. So when we come back at our last segment, we're going to talk about some of those other things that we have that would be beneficial for you and your family to take advantage of. All sorts of things you would love to be able to do. And particularly as we talk about all the good things that go on in our city, you would love to be able to do that. So when we come back, we're going to talk some more about what goes on in my city. My city.
Oh, yes. I feel churchy. Renee, let's let the world know it's time to get what you've been waiting for. Yes, you and you. It's about to happen. Listen. Been waiting on your blessing. Been waiting on your miracle. You've been waiting on your healing. Been waiting on your season to come. But when you begin to have a little thing, to. If you need your child saved, yeah. If you need all your bills paid, you ought to praise him. You really got a reason. Claim the miracle. Hey, you ain't seen nothing yet. That's what you gotta do, y'all. He did it before, y'all. And he's gonna do it again and and he'll heal your body. He'll save your soul. If you give your heart's desire. If you really, really, really believe, you can live out your dreams. And he'll give you many screams, yeah. If you only believe, God's got what you need. You can tap right on in. You got to tap on in right directly into the main source. If you believe it, tap into the main source. You can receive directly from the main source. He's a way maker, chain breaker, mind regulator. He's a consolator. You gotta tap right on, tap into it. Don't wait any longer. Yeah. Tap into it. He's got all of the solutions. Tell him about your problems. He is the main source. Yeah. What's his name? I feel him. Hey, I can feel in my hands. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to the show and the stellar award-winning WVTC Radio Detroit. We're so glad to have you with us. It's always good to be with you, but especially this week because it's a week of Thanksgiving and it's a week to help others who may not be as fortunate as you are. So if you know of some family or somebody who needs a little something this time of year, go do it. Go do it. And you can be a blessing to not only them, but you'd be amazed at how good it makes you feel. So be the blessing to them, but be a blessing to yourself. It just feels good to do good. And don't do it just because you want to feel good. It just makes you feel good and you don't even know it. But be a blessing to someone. If you're able to do that, be a blessing to someone. You know, when we left off, I was talking about visiting Black businesses, and I talked about the Joe Louis restaurant on Woodward Avenue, just north or south of West Grand Boulevard. Well, there is something called the Joe Louis Brown Bomber Jacket that was given out to people in the community who had been influential in the community, who had done volunteer work in the community, who people respected and were able to say thank you for what you have done. Well, I am just so honored that I received one of those Brown Bomber jackets. It seems like a century ago, but it was in 2005 when I received my Brown Bomber jacket, and I'm going to show it to you. There is the Brown Bomber jacket, and it has Joe Louis Video Memorial, Detroit, Michigan. Official Brown Bomber jacket, 2005 is when I received mine. And so I just wanted to make sure I showed that to you and show you how proud I am of that. Two reasons, because I'm proud I was able to receive one. But second reason is that my brother was the creator of the Joe Louis Video Memorial Room and the creator of the Brown Bomber jacket for outstanding service to the community. And he was able to provide one to our own President Barack Obama. And if you've ever saw the president on one of those aircraft carriers, he came out with his Brown Bomber jacket on. We were just thrilled that he wore his brown bomber jacket. And that was due to the work of our own Congressman John Conyers, who facilitated him getting that jacket. Our own John Conyers was the one who made sure that the jacket got to Barack Obama. So we're just real proud of that and real happy to be able to say, guess what? President Barack Obama has a brown bomber jacket presented by Ted Talbot in the Joe Louis Memorial Room. So just little tidbits of information. And I share that because oftentimes, our young people don't know the history of their family. And I call their family because we're all family. And they don't know the history of the community they live in and how influential and special many of the people in their communities are. These people didn't do work because they were looking for a name for themselves. They did it because they thought it was the right thing to do and that it was going to help people in the community. And so you'll hear more about the brown bomber jacket and Joe Louis and all of that in the months to come. But I just wanted to make sure I brought one of those brown bomber jackets to share with you so that you had an opportunity to see at least one of the things that has gone on in our community that started many, many years ago, back in the 1990s. And I know some of you were not even born then, but that's why you need to know the history. And somehow we're going to have to begin to share some of that history with you that isn't in books. Much of this is not in books. And so it's going to have to be verbalized by some of us and to be a living, speaking history. And and that's one of the things I think maybe I'll begin to try and do is have some living history sessions, speaking history sessions of people who are still here, who have lived it, and people who are still here who know the story and are able to share the story with many of young people. And I'll even talk quickly, and I won't stay on this one a long time, but many of you saw the movie called The Green Book. The Green Book is a real book. The Green Book is a real book, and every city had a Green Book, and it was given out by the porters on railroad stations to Black folk as they traveled to many cities so that they would know the friendly places in those cities, where they could go to a drugstore, where they could go to get their hair cut, their hair done, buy clothes, shoe shines, all of those things. And my brother has an original Green Book from Detroit, dated 1940 something, and it is at least this thick, whatever that is. But it's full of Black businesses. All the Black businesses that existed in Detroit. It's a wonderful book to see what was in Black Bottom, to see what was in the Monroe, Verner, all of those areas. That is where I-75 and 375 are today. And as many of you may know, what they're trying to do is take out I-375 and make it into what is supposed to be a more receptive, walk-friendly area. Well, I-375 took out all the Black businesses that were in that area back in the 1970s, 60s, 70s. They took those Black businesses out and destroyed that whole community. Well, now they're trying to find a way to make it more of a walkable area. And I don't know how they can recreate what they destroyed. But there's supposed to be meetings to talk about what that community would like to see done to try and recreate some of those. But I don't know if it could ever be recreated. Probably can't. The Verner Highway is where the hospital was that I was born in, Trinity Hospital. One of the only Black hospitals in that area at the time. So that's where I was born, at Trinity Hospital. Well, that's where 375 is now. And Verner goes into 375. And so, you need to have some history so that you understand what was. Barks, the funeral homes, the grocery stores, the shoe shine parlors, and all of those things that used to be that were owned by Black folk were taken out. And we'll see how they are able to compensate for all of the destruction that took place. But history, you've got to know your history so that you don't repeat it. You've got to know your history so that you know how to get into your future. If you don't know your history, it's going to be hard to get to the future. So you got to know that. And I know there are young people right now who don't have a clue. There are young people in their 20s and some even in their 30s that don't have a clue of the real history of this area. And so some of them, unfortunately, are supporting people who they don't know the history of. They're supporting people who are not their friends. They're supporting people based on what they are hearing and not what they know. So they need to spend some time. And I know library sounds like an ancient word to some folk. Need to spend some time at the library. Don't read it and believe everything you see online. Don't believe everything you see online. You need to be able to hold something in your hand and read it to make sure that that is actually what happened. But I want you to know time is coming when we're going to talk more and more about history and what you need to know so that we don't repeat some mistakes. History will help you not repeat some mistakes. History will help you make better of your future. History will help you help your children make better of their future because they know what happened in the past. So I want to say to you, thank you for being with me today and hear me talk about all this stuff. I know I said stuff. It's okay. But thank you for listening to me talk about Thanksgiving and campus marches and many of the Black businesses that are on Woodward Avenue, and talk about a little bit of history about the Brown Bomber and the Brown Bomber jacket and Joe Louis Video Memorial Room, and my dear brother, crazy as he could be, but he was special. We all have a crazy brother. I only had one, but yeah, he was special. Very, very smart, brilliant young man. But we want to continue to lift them up so that they're not forgotten. We need to make sure that young people know that there was something called a Joe Louis Video Memorial Room and why it was there and all the things that it helped do while it was there. Thank you. I'm glad that you joined us today. This has been special for me because I talked about some things I thought I had forgotten. Talked about some things I hadn't talked about in a long time. In particular, the one that said, there's nobody else in the world who I can say this to. But guess what? And nobody would know what I'm talking about but me and my brother. But that's the way it goes. And I still cherish that memory. Thank you for being with me today. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. An absolutely wonderful Thanksgiving. And eat as much as you want. I know people say don't eat too much. Well, eat as much as you want to eat. Don't forget them talking about don't eat too much. Eat as much as you want. And then take the rest home for the next day. How about that? Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. We'll see you next Monday on the Community Bell Show and the award-winning WVTC Radio Detroit. Stellar award-winning radio show. Have a great holiday.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.